Sunday! Every Sunday, side by side at the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Ray Garino and Joe D calls them as they seize them, and you better believe them. Hear relevant news, biased opinion, and outright nonsense regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp at mechanical trickery never before broadcast over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrilled to the explosive tension as Ray and Joe cuss each other down track, barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and so much more at high noon this Sunday on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and the Live Eat, Ray Garino and Joe D. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free every Sunday at noon on WHBC. Take the Hempstead Turnpike to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the no parking on the expressway and no express service on the Parkway sign. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass. Ski there!
All right, here we are, thrashing and bashing on Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only automotive car talk show with your host.
Hell of a way to start a show, yeah.
Yeah, Ray Guarino, my co-host, Cugino Mio, and companion from a planet of one, Joe D, sitting next to me. We're playing a little bit.
in my own world.
Yes. we're thrashing a little today because we are going to have a great guest, Joe.
Yeah, who's that guy with the old parts there? OPGI,
yes.
Original Parts Group, yeah.
Mr. Tony Giroux from OPGI will be on. That's Original Parts Group International.
Yeah.
He's going to be giving us a call. We've had Tony on the Thursday Night Playing in Traffic show with Lou Santiago for a couple of visits, and he was on this past week. And I said, hey, you're going to be a great radio guest. Let's get you on. So Tony should be giving us a call right after our first break today.
It's always nice when we get a visit from some of the people that we get to see on Playing in Traffic.
Oh, yeah. And Tony, if I got it right, he has a title.
He has a title?
You and Tony will get along great because, in the parts world and all, I didn't write it on here. I wrote it. He's a sourcing specialist.
Sourcing. Oh, it's like source.
Sourcing.
You said
not
I
sauce.
thought I heard you said sauce, and I got excited.
It's a New York accent. Okay, sauce, gravy. We get into that. Yeah, I know. No, sourcing specialist because he sources parts for the many different ventures that OPG gets into, and we'll get into that when Tony calls.
I'm just kind of poking through the website. These guys are no joke.
They haven't been for many years. OPGI has been one of the premiers in the business, and they definitely still are.
That should be good. We should interrogate the heck out of him.
Oh, yeah. He's a great, easy guy to talk to, and he requested some metal, so that's why I said, okay, we can do that.
Well, that's good. I mean, you haven't found that Lawrence Welk disc, have you yet?
Yeah, no, I don't have that one.
All right, good.
I want to tell you a funny story. Something that happened to me yesterday. I had to take a trip to see my buddy Mark, my Fiat guru, who's out in West Hampton.
Ah, okay.
Actually, his store is in Quogue, but I took the Fiat out on a road trip. Out east, Saturday morning, early, let me tell you something, nobody on the road. 60 miles an hour, I went 60 miles in actually, I got there in 45 minutes.
Wow.
So I guess I made up some time somewhere. Got my starter. He had a starter motor for me, which is getting kind of hard to find now, the old Bosch cast iron starters.
Right.
I used to rebuild them, all the time.
Right.
And now they're just getting to be rare like hen's teeth. So
it's either that or you would have had to put the crank back in.
That would do it, right? And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Back. But I met a guy out there, a very eclectic gentleman by the name of Paul, who had a 944 Porsche.
Ah, okay.
I always liked the 944s.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of people don't. The Porsche purists didn't, but
yeah, motor's in the wrong place. Yeah,
and he's trying to sell it because he's moving to Europe, and he said the car's got 37,000 miles on it. Had been laid up for like 15, 20 years, something like that. Mm-hmm. And then through talking, he says, "Here, drive it. Take it out. Take it for a drive." I'm like, "All right." So I get in the car, and he says, "Take your time. Don't come back too soon. Take your time. Have some fun." I'm like, wow. Well, right off the bat, if I could take the clutch and the brakes from that car and put them in my car, I'd be in heaven because then I'd have the convertible and everything. He wanted to sell the car for about $5,000, which is good for a low mileage 944. Had a lot of little things wrong with it.
Yeah.
Stupid things. By the end of our visit, he wanted to swap me straight up.
Really?
Yeah, your eyes
Fiat?
did what mine did. Yeah, and it's interesting because he asked as I was leaving. He says, "Well, what are the Fiats? What are they worth?" Because we had gone all over the car. Mark's a Fiat guy, so he wanted to see what I'd done to it. And we both said, you know what? A pristine OEM example is maybe $5,000. The cars, I think, are underrated. Mark agrees.
Right.
People just never caught on with them. I said, so yeah, you could get a driver for a lot less than that. I got mine for free, Get it out of my driveway. So even with that, he said, I'll swap titles with you. I'll take it straight up. I'm like, wow.
Jim thinks you should have took it.
Wow. Yeah, I know. A lot of guys are going to think I should have took it. But like my wife said, but there goes the convertible. I'm like, you're right. If the 944 it had a sunroof, but it's not the same.
No.
Not the same.
No, it's...
So, I don't know. That was very interesting. I haven't had an offer like that in, like, forever.
Serious.
So, yeah.
So, was the rehab down the block?
Yeah, it was probably close by. You're right. It probably was very close by.
Well, I mean, those Porsches are very competent cars, and that's kind of...
Oh, yeah.
That was before they got completely stupid with the technology and stuff. But,
right.
I don't know, the Fiat... we were talking about this in the other room. A car... When we get a car, it's like, adopting a kid, getting a new puppy.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then once it's part of the family, it doesn't go too easily. So
you're right.
No matter how attractive the other one may be, I got a soft spot for that Fiat, not for nothing.
My brother was a Porsche mechanic when he was around. I don't even. I looked at the engine. It's just a big aluminum intake. I don't even know what size motor's in that thing. But I'll tell you this: when you drive it, real nice, very nice clutch. Felt kind of hydraulic but firm, like a firm, not like my Mazda.
Yeah, it's German.
A firm hydraulic clutch, manual steering, and the shifter was nice and notchy, beautiful. And the car was cool. As you accelerate, it had a whine to it. It was like a.
Yeah.
I like that. There was a lot of pluses. But
I was in some of those cars back in the day when they were more proficient, more around, and they were nice. I mean, okay, you get the people that the motor's in the wrong place and all that, but. The 944 wasn't a bad car at all.
See, that's the beauty of it. I told him this. I said, I remember when the 911s went water-cooled, and the purists said, that's it, Porsche's dead. Same thing happened with BMW motorcycles when they went from the traditional two-cylinder, and they brought a 3- and 4-cylinder out, which is what I own, and then water-cooled it, and they're like, no, the motorcycle, you killed it. And like, you know what? Now, 30-some-odd years later, they still survive. They're still... Cars and bikes are still excellent examples of what the engineering proved them to be.
Yeah, some of us don't like change, let's face it.
It's just the purists.
Yeah,
so,
no. Well,
not being one, it's easy to go in because you just
I
like
it. Yeah, whatever. That's like the same people who, have the wrong coat hooks. When they restore a car, and it's like, hey, that's the wrong air cleaner decap.
Yeah, the wrong wing nut.
Come on, yeah,
exactly.
Stop.
Exactly.
Okay, there's a place for those guys, but I personally think that if it's going to stop you, if it's going to be a deal breaker for an otherwise gorgeous, fun car.
Oh yeah.
I really think you should step back, take a drink, and think this out. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, we'll see. I'm not going to really move on anything too quick. It was just an interesting thing that doesn't really happen. Something else happened over the weekend I want to mention on this show. I tuned into one of the sports shows here on Friday, not because I'm a sports nut or aficionado. I just want to make sure that your son Mike wasn't. I still want to make sure that he's not doing the Friday show. So,
right.
I'll be like quadruple redundancy. And what I heard on that sports show is 3 Motor Mouth Radio callers call in that show. Kevin from Massapequa, Tom from Massapequa, and John from Freeport. So if those guys are listening, call this show back. You're our regulars.
We miss you. Yeah. I mean, we don't do no sports stuff, but. Right. Car stuff is always welcome, and it would be nice to hear from you guys again.
Exactly.
Definitely. Well, it's nice to know that people are listening to the radio, besides us.
Yeah.
Goes to show you that at least they haven't turned them into the zombies there. But
absolutely.
Or there's a lot of cross-pollination. There's some good shows on the station.
Oh, there's a ton of them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, maybe you've been introduced to us via them or vice versa, but, keep on listening, for sure.
Yeah. And you can go to the website, ncc.edu, and look for WHPC. I thought they had a link up here. Probably /WHPC.
Yeah.
You can find all the stuff. I know Rob covered it. Of course, Adam West passed away yesterday at 88 of leukemia. The tie-in, big Batman fan, of course, like Rob is. He is my Batman, too.
Yes,
and I was going to bring my Batman mask on. I actually drove the Batmobile, so I have that tie-in,
I have a video of that someplace, and it's also on the website, I think. Yeah,
it is.
It's on the Facebook page.
Right.
Yeah, so there's proof. There's Ray and Chris.
Yeah.
Tooling around in the Batmobiles. Which one of you was wearing the mask? One of you was wearing the mask.
I had the Batman mask. I wore my gauntlet gloves. Oh, yeah, I did. I gave him a Robin mask, but he didn't wear it.
Mm-hmm.
Adam West was actually an armed forces announcer during World War II. So I guess during the war he enlisted, and then, maybe I guess he might have probably involved with the film industry already and said, hey, you know what? I guess they would take the talent who had film and camera,
exposure
chops, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of them did armed forces radio or whatever. So Adam West did do that. We also lost another stalwart of our industry, Vic Edelbrock Jr.
Ooh, I didn't catch that one.
Again yesterday, he passed away. I heard it was from complications from a cold. So, I mean, as you get older, that stuff, like pneumonia is really nasty.
Yeah.
There was they put a nice blurb out on Edelbrock's site. But Vic Edelbrock, one of the big names of the industry. One of the icons.
I mean, Edelbrock, geez. I mean, let's face it. Starting from back in the day when it was just intakes.
Oh yeah.
To nowadays, where they pretty much produce all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Suspension, engines, heads. That they if it wasn't for him, a lot of stuff wouldn't be out there. He was a big contributor.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so well, that getting older stuff sucks.
Well, yeah, it does. It does. So that was it was a nasty day yesterday where all that's concerned. But
you get hit. Oh, that's only 2. I wonder who number 3 is going to be.
Yeah, there's always the other shoe that's going to drop, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll.
That would. Well, most of us only have 2 shoes.
That's true.
So if whoever's out there with who's ever out there with the 3rd shoe, make sure it's tied.
It might have been a Romulan derivant from I don't know.
Oh, I used to know that species.
Legs,
there was a species with 3 appendages, but I can't think of it right now.
Yeah.
Or that one from never mind. From,
better off. Let that one slide.
Definitely.
So what happened to you? Any good repair stuff? We got a couple minutes before we hopefully talk with Tony.
Oh, I actually got the ABS working back on the minivan again. I finally just said the heck with it. Just dove in, narrowed it down to the ABS computer. So I ended up ripping that out of the car. And
that's right. You got a replacement for that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. What I did was actually when I took it apart, I checked the pins because I kept getting the wheel speed sensor code open circuit.
Right.
And I'm like, all the wires are tight. It's a brand new sensor, which I know that new means never ever worked, but I actually crossed it to the other side to a known good sensor. And I found that the pins that internally the ABS unit was not making contact.
Right.
So it saw an open circuit, but what it was trying to tell me was outside the module, but it really was inside. So at that point, I was like, okay, you got to go.
Yeah.
And they use these impossibly tiny little external Torx.
Yeah, I bought a set of those. I finally bought a set of those sockets.
Yeah. And I found that I'm pretty strong because I actually made one of them. I actually twisted one off. I mean, I should have had the torque wrench, but that and the screws were 14 years old, so that didn't help any.
Right.
But other than that, there was no other bloodshed. So hey,
and everything fixed. It works. Everything is good.
Stupid lights out. The ABS kicks in when you slam the brakes on.
Nice.
And ABS.
Where did you do the brake test?
What?
Where did you do the brake test?
Ooh, the service road of the Clearview.
Okay, good.
Which, they really should just rename that whole thing, the test track of the Queens Repair Shop test track.
Yeah, automotive test track, right?
That's where I run my monitors. That's where I do my test drives.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And there was no tire smoke involved. And
that's good.
I was thing
no rear
enders,
straight.
Yeah, seriously. Well, because in Queens, I mean, there are people trying to do the NASCAR draft at 15 miles an hour. It's like, what good does this serve?
Right.
You're not getting, I'm not a slow driver. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I'm not a hot, I'm like Mr. Hotfoot, but
right.
It's crazy how people want to do 80 down the street. I almost sometimes agree with the guys with the speed cameras.
Yeah, right. I know. I understand.
But but some of these guys kind of slowed down.
Right.
I think we just got a flash there.
Well, you know what? Let's take our first break, and we'll come back. I already cued some music. We'll come back with Tony Giroux from OPGI. Hopefully that's not him, and he can wait. Motormouth Radio. Keep it where you got it. Hang on.
Opa! Yasu!
Hi, this is Teddy Savalas, and I invite you to 2 hours of vintage and modern Greek music with a mix of Greek mythology, history, culture, and dynamic English vocabulary based on Greek roots. If after listening you end up saying it was all Greek to you, I'll be thrilled. So until then, let out an opa and dance.